And I want to talk about my weight loss journey and how life has affected why I need to have a weight loss surgery, gastric bypass. So, I don't know where to begin. I think I need to begin from the very beginning. You know, it's a very good place to start. I've been married 3 times. I have been divorced 3 times. The last husband that I had is the one I focus on the most, because that's the one that I married out of love. It's the one that I married because God told me to. As a Christian, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And when we make decisions in our lives, it's the Holy Spirit telling us to make those decisions in our life. And with that said, I had a really happy marriage, except for one thing: we were unequally yoked. And I did not know that we were unequally yoked going into the marriage. If I knew that, I wouldn't have married him. But I have no regrets. Almost 10 years of marriage. It was a good marriage. I was comfortable in the marriage. Even though we were unequally yoked, and even though we were having a lot of issues, marital issues that was going on in our marriage, I got really, really comfortable being able to trust someone, being able to love someone unconditionally. I got very uncomfortable when I first met him, and I didn't like him at first. And I struggled with that issue of, God, why are you putting this person in my life? I don't want to be with him. I don't even like him. And I could see the things that I didn't like about him, just was like, so aggravating and irritating. And I just wasn't attracted whatsoever. But we met in church, and we met because of his father going to the church. And I always thought, well, if he's anything like his dad, I don't want to be with him. But his dad tried to get us together, and then our care group started getting us together, and he was going to care group a lot because of me. He wanted to pursue me. And it was that relationship with God that just one day it clicked, and one day I fell in love, and got married. And we got pregnant on our wedding night with my son. So we didn't date very long, and we didn't have a whole lot of us time. And I was a single mom with 2 kids already. So of course we did not have that romantic honeymoon or any of that stuff that was more than just a weekend getaway. And we rushed into moving from my townhouse into a house, and he still has that house today with his girlfriend, and I live 3 streets over from them. And we moved so fast, so fast. And I should have seen the red flags that my gut was telling me ahead of time and before. But I don't have any regrets of my marriage. I was committed. I loved my family. I loved my spouse. I did what God had commanded me to do, in my marriage. So when I get here on YouTube and I complain about situations in my life, I'm not complaining about what happened. I'm just wanting to share my journey with you. I take full responsibility for my decisions on marrying the person I chose. and I take full responsibility of the decisions I make moving forward into my life. And so with that said, when my husband filed for divorce, I moved on to back to my old self too, a single mom. And I had a plan. I had a plan for my life as a single mom. He can do whatever he wants to do, go be with whoever he wants to be with, because there were a lot of issues and we were unequally yoked. And I don't want to be with someone I'm unequally yoked with. I want to be married to a Christian man, and I want to be married to someone who upholds his responsibilities as a father, and who will love and support the mother of his child. And I want that family unit. I want that oneness with God, with my spouse. And I already have that oneness with God by myself. So I've always wanted that godly man in my life. And I don't want to say that my decision of marrying him was like a really bad decision. It was just, I ignored the red flags, and I put a lot of trust and faith in my spouse, probably more than I did God at that time. I got married, and during my almost 10 years of marriage. So that's what I want to take responsibility in. So during my marriage, there was the marital issues, the sin that my husband brought into the marriage, and I had conviction of that sin, and I had it for many, many years, and I felt unloved, unwanted, unappreciated, unimportant, worthless 3 weeks after we were married. And I lived that way throughout our marriage. And I feel like I was used and abused. And I had confirmation of the way I felt as soon as my ex-husband filed for divorce. The day he filed, it was like the stress was off my shoulders. I was back to my old self. My kids could see it. And it was like, thank you, Jesus. He protected me from the evilness I was dealing with in my marriage and in my home that was getting worse by the minute. And the decisions that my ex was making at that time was not good for me or the children at that time. And so as soon as he filed for divorce, this is almost 3 years ago now, so I can, talk about it. I have had to deal with the aftermath of that difference in our faith and our communication, and that difference of our morals and values as a family and as a single mom, and the co-parenting that it takes, to do the things that we need to do for our children and the life that we have. And so I have tried over the years to do what's right and to, protect my kids. And I made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, when I chose the person I married. So, I take full responsibility for that decision. I got very, very depressed because of the way I felt in my marriage for many, many years. Throughout the marriage, I got sick with endometriosis. And to be honest, I was so comfortable with who I had married and the situation I was stuck in, being pregnant, having kids, having a family, and being very unhappy, knowing that we're unequally yoked. And and having that difference of what a man should do in a marriage and what a woman should do in a marriage, and how the man should uphold himself and be the leader, and my husband not being able to do that. It caused a lot of depression, knowing that I was unloved, unwanted, unappreciated, unrespected. There was a lot of times in our marriage, a lot of times where my husband would go to someone else before he would go to me. And there was a lot of times where he didn't respect me and my thought process, you know. And I always made excuses for why he did that throughout our marriage. When I would go to family or friends and I would say, you know, he's not listening to me or anything, I would make excuses. And they would make excuses. They would say, well, go talk to him, you know, try to work it out and all this. And at some point, right before he filed, he made a decision to file for divorce. He said his decision was final. He thought about it, and this is what he wants to do. He had given me no reason for the divorce, but I think, you know, ultimately he knew we were unequally yoked also. He knew it. I knew it. And he stopped communicating. He completely stopped communicating. And it's very difficult to go through a divorce when that spouse is not communicating, not co-parenting. And here we have a child. Everything that we worked hard for, everything that we did together as husband and wife, everything we built together, and everything that I knew was just shattered. Shattered in one decision that someone made without discussing it with me, and without me having any knowledge that he even felt that way. And it was like a knife went through my heart, which caused more depression. Even though I was relieved, even though I was free from the bondage of marriage, I wanted so desperately to have that family unit. You know, meeting your husband at church, meeting your husband in Bible study, and knowing morals and values that you have and what God's Word says. For a Christian, it's very difficult to understand what's going on when someone abandons you and leaves you and abuses you like that. Just uses you up and then trades you in for a newer model. You know, even after he filed, I said, oh, he's just going through a midlife crisis. Maybe that's what it is. He's going to be the hero. He's going to save our marriage. He's going to come back and he's going to be that person that I know that God wants him to be. And then I went through divorce care. And divorce care really taught me that no, he's not going to change. He's not going to come to you. He's not going to fix this unless he is right with God. That's the only way your family is going to get back together. And in the meantime of me dealing with all these emotions, depression, anxiety, legal issues, financial issues, I had been a stay-at-home mom for almost 10 years. I didn't get no alimony because it wasn't quite 10 years. I didn't get the support I needed because he didn't want to pay the amount on the form that we filled out. So he got it cut in half. He didn't want to support me. When he filed, he says, I'm filing for divorce. Oh, by the way, your car's leaking oil. Call your dad. Have him fix it. I was like, what? You're my husband. What's going on here? Like, why are you not having the responsibility of taking care of your family? Why are you walking away from not only me, but your kids? I drive your child around in my car. You should help me with my car. That's what I'm thinking. I'm husband, what is going on here? Like, you just want to up and leave your marriage without talking to me, without telling me what's going on in your brain? What are you feeling? No communication. He made his mind up. His decision's final. It was later I found out he was with someone else, and it was part of his plan. But at the time, I didn't know. It was very, very confusing. I was going through a lot of emotion. And to be honest with you, I had to get a job. I had to work really hard. We got kicked out of our house after 9 months of me being in the basement and separated from my spouse. We got divorced, and I ended up getting into an apartment. Life was good. It was soon after my divorce, a couple months after my divorce, I was debt-free. I finally got money, and I was debt-free. Although I've had to pay back that year of living without my spouse helping me. And as we were going through that divorce, having been abandoned, and that money cost pretty much all of what I had just for me to get into an apartment and to live. Didn't leave me but $3,000 left over. And I want to tell you that it was me getting a job, me trying to work really hard, and a lot of help from my family and friends and church people who have gotten me this far to where I'm at. And I need to be humble and thankful for what I have and what I did have in my marriage. I need to be thankful for my spouse and the time we had, the good times, and my kids and the life I've had for my kids. You know, it's been great. It really has been great. But during all this and the struggles that I had in my life, I don't want to make excuses, but I didn't have anyone, especially my spouse, to support me in my health. I didn't have anyone to help me and support me in me. My mental health, my physical health, my emotional health, or my financial health, for that matter. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschooled my kids for a couple years during the pandemic. And I had no life outside of being a mom. I had no life outside of being a wife. And as soon as my husband filed for divorce, I had to start thinking about, okay, what am I going to do about a job? What am I going to do about my finances? What am I going to do about my education? What am I going to do about my health? And for the first time in my life, 3 years later, after my divorce is finalized, I get to make decisions to recover. I am still in recovery from my divorce. 3 years later. And I'm still heartbroken. Even getting on YouTube and talking about my divorce, I just sometimes want to cry. I want to break down. It is so devastating when you have that person that walks away from you when you love them and when you trust them. And so I am not going to lie, I put a lot of that comfort into food. I put a lot of comfort into being so depressed, I didn't even want to exercise. I didn't care because in my mind, I am completely committed to my spouse, and I'm not going to leave him. Even though he's already filed for divorce and we're divorced. Like, I'm not going to leave him. Because God has commanded me to have that commitment in my marriage. And so, with that said, I am comfortable, very, very comfortable in my own body, and I am comfortable in drowning out my sorrow and my broken heart and my shattered dreams with food and giving up on life. I really don't care if I'm dead or alive. I think a lot of that is because of my morals and values. Like, heaven's got to be way better than this hell I'm in on earth, right? It's not to a point where I'm suicidal or anything, although depression kicks in. And a lot of times I don't show that depression on my channel. There has been a couple times I've shown that depression on my channel. But it's so short-lived. It's probably an hour, and then I'm back to myself again. I don't have days on end where I just lay in bed. I don't have days on end where I'm just lazy all day. And working as a daycare worker, it really, really helped. I found out who I was. I love children. I love being around children. And in my marriage, I didn't want to be with children all the time because I was at home with children all the time. I needed desperately adult conversation. I wasn't getting it from my spouse, and I needed friendship. I needed adult conversations. And I think the pandemic really showed me, going through the divorce during the pandemic, that how bad I needed that adult communication, and I needed friends in my life. And I needed to continue to go back to what I was before when I first met my husband. I was involved in church. I was cleaning the church. I was organizing activities and garage sales and things like that at the church. I was very active in serving God. That is something that I have yet to get back into doing full force, and I think after my gastric bypass surgery, this is something that is definitely going to occur. I feel like I have that freedom back of making my own decisions based on my own morals, beliefs, and my family values. So I am striving to do God's will. This is what He wants for me in my life, is to be me, to serve Him in everything that I do, be active in my care group, in my church. And right now, through my divorce, these people have been there for me. They have got my back. They are saying, this is wrong, what has happened in my marriage. They knew me and my spouse. They loved us. They actually threw us our wedding. And the church themselves, the body of Christ, have come together and supported me as a single mom with my children. And I feel so very, very blessed to have those friends and family that I now can make sure that they are, more of a priority in my life. And I pushed them all away when I was married because of that depression I was in. And, I really, really wanted to be one with my spouse, with those friendships. we were together on those friendships, then we were good. But not only did my husband walk away from me, my children, my family, and our friends, he's also walked away from the body of Christ and God himself. So it's very evident in my life what has occurred, and everybody knows the truth. And so I can move forward knowing that I did everything I can, to save my marriage. I've done everything I can to be a really good wife for my spouse, the best I could with what I had. And I was a very good mother for my kids. And I, now moving forward, want to talk about what I need to do as a single mom to move forward. And I'm going to counseling, and it's really helping, and I have a caseworker who's helping me. And so we are together, going to figure out how to fix me. Fix me. I am broken. I think when I went into counseling, the first thing I said to her is, I am so broken. Not only broke financially, I am broken as far as emotionally. I can't do this anymore. I need help. I need medicine. I need something, because I have never taken any medicine. I have never gotten even a speeding ticket. And here I'm going through all this legal nonsense through the court, ripping my motherly rights away from me because my husband wants to do that to me. And taken away my whole life because of his decision to file for divorce. And it is so wrong for a Christian man to do this to his wife. But it reminds me of the story of Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. Hagar got sent off into the desert because Abraham and Sarah had a baby, after they plotted this big plan to use her to get pregnant and have a son and her be the mom. She was totally ripped away from her duties as part of that family. She was sent off. She was used and abused and thrown in the trash, just like I was. And I feel like a Hagar. And when people in your life try to be God themselves, they are selfish, they are wanting to do what they want to do, and they're living in sin, morals and values are out the window. They don't matter to that person. So my thought process through counseling is changing, because what I thought my husband was, or what I thought my marriage was, isn't reality. It isn't what it really was. And it's taking counseling and me healing emotionally for me to understand that. It took divorce care for me to understand I can't change that person. It took divorce care for me to understand that I am not alone in this. This happens all the time, especially since the pandemic. The court system was just completely full of divorces. No matter how wrong it is, no matter how tough things have gotten, and no matter what is going on in life. There's a car breaking down. Hold on a minute. I'm going to go around them. They got their blinkers on. I don't know what's going on with their car, but they're acting wish I was a mechanic and I could help them. I would pull them over and say, do you need help? But there's a lot of things in life that I do want to do to help people moving forward. That's what I do. I have always been a CNA. As far as jobs, ever since high school, I had my degree as a CNA. I was a med tech at one point, was able to pass meds. I know the healthcare, and I know and I have been taught how emotional stress and depression and financial stress and anxiety can affect your health. And here I allowed it to happen to myself. And I do want to help other people. I have a passion that's stirring inside of me to help other single moms, to start a ministry. I have all of these thoughts and dreams of what I want to do in my head. I talked to my husband about it when we first met. It was something that really we were on goal to do together. It was something that I wanted to fulfill. A promise that we made each other when we got married, that I wanted to do this. And I was going to help single moms. He was going to help people who are alcoholics, AA members. And we together were going to start a ministry. Somewhere shortly after, when all of our marital problems began, all of that went away. So as soon as he filed for divorce, all that came back to me. And my passion for business, owning my own business, my passion for doing my own thing started to come back. And here I was working at a daycare. I was working first, as soon as he filed for divorce, at a city government job. And I was an event planner of all things. You know, like I said, I started to become me again, an event planner, an organizer, a program coordinator. That was my title. And I was active, and I was setting up tables and chairs, and I was working really hard, and I was exercising, and I started fasting, doing intermediate fasting. It was working. And I would try protein shakes and diets, and it started to work a little bit. Not gonna lie. But 8 months after our divorce was finished due to settlement agreement, my ex-spouse has now made up a lie to get control of everything and take my marital motherly rights away from me. And hurt me even more. And again, it just shows how I felt in my marriage was spot on. It was true. It was a feeling of being rejected, unwanted, unloved, was all true. The way I felt. And those excuses that I made for him, I do regret doing. And I found out who the true husband was I was married to. And the fact that he does all this against me to hurt me, but it's hurting the child and the children of the home even more than it is me, is mind-boggling to me on how a parent can do that to their child. How a parent can not only separate themselves from their family and their mother, but how a father can take that child and just rip them in two. He has asked my child, how would you feel if I had full custody of you? What? He was never diapers that often. I did all the work. When it came to the home and the children, it was me. He was at AA. He was at work, and then he would go to AA. He was barely home. And now he wants full custody? Wow. I'm so very blessed that my child says, it would break my heart, Dad. I can't do that. Why would you say that? Because I would never see my mom again. That is so sad that he would even want to do that. I would never, ever, ever ask to take my ex-husband out of my son's life. I want him in my son's life. I want him to step up and be a good father. I want him to help support his child. I need support. I need my child to have support. But that doesn't mean I'm a bad mom. That doesn't mean that I am a lousy, unfit parent. I am a very good mom. Probably one of the best moms ever, besides my mom, that I know. My morals, my values as a Christian stand firm and stand among any accusations, lies, and harassment that comes against me. My morals and values is who I am. I am a Christian. I am a daughter of the King. And because of that alone, I've got God on my side. You know, with all things through Christ, He gives me strength. If you have Jesus Christ in your life, who can be against you? Right? Evilness, Satan, he has no hold on me and my decisions in my life. He can take anything and everything away from me, and I am still going to stand strong in what I believe and my faith. Yesterday was 4th of July. It was standing up for our constitutional rights, and everybody is just out there playing and shooting fireworks. You know what I was doing? I was praying for our nation. It is going down. It is going down, and you know, I think in the next couple of days, y'all gonna figure that out. Things are happening behind closed doors. Things are happening in our nation that is going to change just like that. Just as quick as my divorce. A decision being made and you have no control over what that decision is. You're going to have no voice. This is not America anymore. We are not a republic anymore. A lot of the political talk is this is a democracy. It's a democracy. No, it's not. It's a republic. You need to learn about your constitutional rights, your Bill of Rights, your amendments, the things that give you the freedom and liberty, the legal system, how it works. It's so corrupt that someone can make a lie up with no evidence of that lie, and they can take away your parental rights. Any government agency can come in and remove your children from your home just because they want to. This is not America. We are not one nation under God. My family had become a family that was not led one family under God. For me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That was what my mother-in-law gave me. A sign over my door. Our first wedding gift. And that was not being upheld by my ex-spouse. That verse was not being upheld in my marriage. very sad. So very sad. And I'm going to tell you that that Bible verse is probably still sitting above that door. But it doesn't stand true. Because if it did, we would be married. If it did, we would be one. If we did, I would have that love and support by my spouse. So, as a single mom, I now get to make decisions for me and my kids. As a single mom, I now get to take care of my emotional needs, my mental needs, my financial needs, my health needs. But I got to figure it out. I got all this against me. Yep, I'm stuck. And now I got to figure it out. So, I am working on this. I am on a journey. I was working at a daycare. Life was good. I was still having the legal issues. But then my health started failing. I started falling at work. I fell 3 times over a course of a year and a half. My health is getting really bad. I'm unable to walk for long periods of time. As a matter of fact, I sometimes can't even stand for a long period of time. I cannot do dishes because I can't stand. I have to take breaks. Get back, let's sit down for about 10 minutes, get back up, do the dishes. I can't maintain my property that I have because I can't physically mow and weed eat and take care of the land like I need to. I have lost my strength in my arm because I fell and broke my wrist, elbow, and shoulder in 2022. I'm weak. I don't have the muscles I used to. I gained weight. My hair is falling out. I had a hysterectomy in 2017, and ever since, I am just blowing up. Depression took a turn on me. It's done its job. It's gotten me down so much, the life struggles that I'm under, that now I am so broken that I have to get help. And through it all, I can hold my head up and say, hey, you know what? I did what was right. I have followed God. I have been a submissive wife. I've been a good mom. I have never taken drugs. I've never been in trouble with the law. I'm a good person. And what I can say about life is, oh, dear God, please come quickly for me. However that looks, I'm ready. But there's still one thing that I have not done that God has given me a passion to do more of, and that's help other single moms. And He says you need to take care of yourself. For the longest time, He says, be still and know I'm God. Be still and know I'm God. Be still and know I'm God. And now, God is telling me, take care of yourself. Work on you. Because I am growing. I am becoming stronger in Jesus Christ. I am getting more and more passionate about life and about what it is that God has called me to do. Yeah, He called me to be a wife. Yes, He's called me to be a mother. Yes, He's called me to be a single Christian. That's what I am, a Christian single mom. But He gave me this channel, Blessed Be the Gift, years ago, before I was married. It was called Mom Life. And when we got married, my husband and I, we discussed it, and I said, Blessed Be the Gift. And he helped me with that name. The business part of reselling, he said that gives you something to do while you're a stay-home mom. But he wasn't supportive in it. He said, I'll build you a shed out in the backyard. But he built his shed first. It took him lots of years before I got my shed. Then I finally get my shed, and he takes years to fix it up. And then He fixes it up and he takes it from me in my divorce. I didn't get it. He sold it. Even though I'm supposed to, on paper, get it. I didn't get it. Another thing he took away from me. My business. He took away our home, where I could be running a business right now. And as I was working at the daycare, and I'm falling, and I'm going through legal issues, and I have this desire to own my own business, God showed me that I need to leave my job. I need to put 100% trust in Him that He's going to provide, and He has. 2 months now I have been without work, and I don't know how I've made it, but nothing in my life has changed. I have made it. And so I'm preparing for what I need to do to take care of me. And I want knee replacements because my biggest problem is I need to fix my pain in my knees. But guess what? Doctors don't want to do knee replacements. They say I'm too young. Just like when I had endometriosis, I have the problem of having endometriosis, but I am too young, and they want me to have hysterectomy instead of laser on my endometriosis. But they have to wait till I hit a certain age. Now with my knees, they said you're gonna need knee replacements eventually, but you got another 10 years maybe before that. But what we need to do is you need to lose that weight. Well, how am I supposed to lose weight if I am in pain like I am? I have osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, I am a fall hazard, and I can break more bones very easily with a fall. So they're saying gastric bypass. Okay, so we finally get to talk about gastric bypass through all of this emotional depression and all this I've gone through. Financial, legal harassment. Wow. Going into this surgery, I am going to have to change my mental thought process, and I'm definitely going to probably have to have some help. I'm going to go through my counseling. She's going to help me through the process. The doctors, the caseworker, they're going to help me through the process. They are going to be beside me. They're not going to abandon me and leave me to do this on my own. And I feel very confident that I have the support I need to do this for me. But I want to cry because I'm scared. I'm scared to put my trust in people because I've been let down so much in my life that I worry that that will happen again. I am scared of the pain of the surgery. I am scared of the recovery, to not be able to enjoy that comfort food anymore. It's a big change to not be able to eat the foods that you love. I am scared of the hair loss that most people have because I've already had a lot of hair loss. I am going to go to a doctor in September because that's the soonest I can get in for hormone replacement therapy. That's going to cause a whole nother set of issues, I'm sure. When I had my hysterectomy and I went in through menopause, I started breaking out in rashes. I had my hair just come out in clumps. There was so much that went wrong in my health because of menopause due to this hysterectomy that I had. And I just think that what I need to concentrate on is this procedure. I totally agree 100% with the doctors that I need to take care of me. And to be honest with you, taking care of yourself is very hard when you're a giver, and it's hard for you to receive help. Very, very difficult. Especially when in the back of your mind, you know that you're going to get let down. People are going to think that the surgery is not something you need. But I have tried. I have tried so hard to do what I need to do for my health, and I want to walk again. I want to run with my kids again. I want to feel good again about myself. And so, to be a good mom, to be able to work and walk, go climb a mountain. You know, I have these passions. I have these things that I want to do in my life. And I need to do what I need to do to take care of myself so I can do these things in my life. I'm approaching 50 years old soon, and it's starting to hit me that I'm a single mom at 50 years old. And I need to make sure that I give myself the ability to move forward, to find that Christian man in my life. I need to give myself the capability of being there for my children and my grandchildren. And I need to take care of my health. So as I'm going through this weight loss journey, I'm going to bring you guys along with me. We're going to talk about my fears. We're going to talk about my diet. We're going to talk about what the doctor says. This week I do go to the doctor, and I'm hoping to have a date set for surgery. So I'm going to keep you guys posted. There will be another health, weight loss video, and sharing my journey probably this week. So, you know, I'm stuck. I am stuck again. And this is going to be a rough couple years for me as I'm recovering from this. And I'm excited to have the pain taken away. But I do understand, and I do know, for those who are going to say, but gastric bypass doesn't get rid of arthritis. I know that. I know that. So, it's not going to be a cure for my knee replacements either. It will be something that may help postpone knee replacements, but we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. So, with that said, keep me in your prayers, and there's a GoFundMe page if you guys want to help me out as a single mom. A lot of changes are going to be coming in the next couple of months, years of this channel. And like I've said before, I just want to be honest and truthful with you. And I want to share this journey with you. And I want to thank you guys so much for being there for me. Your love and your support means everything, and it really does get me through these tough times I'm in. So I appreciate you, and I couldn't do it without you. So I love y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.